wake me, I'm dreaming. Yeah. Ooh. Christopher Williams, remember them? Remember him? One of the greatest songs. Well, R&B ain't one of the greatest songs, but it was a great song for back then. What's up? It's Wildin' Out Wednesday. What's going on with you? I'm happy to be here with you. I'm glad to talk to you. And we're getting closer and closer to the weekend. Can you believe it? We're already 3 days down in the books, unless you're one of those people that work mid or a third shift. So, you are still in the midst of it, but that's okay. It'll be over soon. So, we talked yesterday about sports betting and what it's done. And, I even told you about some of my trials that I've gone through even with sports betting, years ago, maybe about 15, 20 years ago. But these things happen. Money is psychological, I always feel like. It's always tempting, and it's always tempting to want to get things, right? You always feel like I need something, or even if you don't need it, you know what? You just want something. And you ever had that feeling before? You got a couple extra $100 in your hand, and so you're just sitting down thinking to yourself like, and especially with the phone now, you just keep clicking on it. Dang, they didn't sell out yet. And sometimes you even be wanting something to happen so that way it will sell out. And then you go back again. Oh my God, y'all still got it available? All right, I'm going to wait one more day. And if on that next day, maybe even if it's a pay Friday, I'm going to wait. And then we're going to see if they still have what's left that I wanted to get. And I've done that several times. Feels like probably several hundred times where, I've had to control my splurges or my spending urges when it comes down to something. So what I had to do was try to have some discipline, which is extremely hard when it comes down to it. And here comes the lottery. So I remember even starting off as a little kid, and a lot of people know, especially because I always try to preface this as because I don't know where exactly where you're from, but in most inner cities, down at stores, at the corner stores, they have lottery machines, or they used to have them way more frequently back in the 80s, late 70s and 80s. So what would happen is that, for instance, with me, with grandma, you know what I'm saying? She'd say, go down there and play me $10. And then what she would do is she would have, all of the stuff. And I'm telling you, man, rest in peace to grandmas, man. Especially, oh God, man. So she would send me down there, and it would be a paper, right? And a lot of and it would be all wrapped up. You know what I mean? Wrapped up. It'll be like $5 in it or $3 or whatever it was. And it was she would say, go down there and play my numbers. So I want 1, 2, 3 straight, and then 1, 2, 3 in a box. Be like, never mind, don't worry about it. That's why I wrote it down for you anyway. So that was a good time. But what I didn't know is that over time, it would cause such a problem as far as, and it's almost like, you ever have something happen and it's almost like a slow draining of you? And because the lottery is only $5 here, $10 here. Some of us, like I know when I used to work at a traditional 9-to-5 job, and the Powerball would be $500 million. And hey, everybody, let's all pitch in. All right, I got 10. All right, who's going to go get it? Because we got to go get it from either over in Jersey or the suburbs of Montgomery County or somewhere. Because you ain't gonna win if you get the tickets in Philly. So what did we do? Everybody pulling together money. I'm talking about you might have 20 people at the job. 20 people, $20 a piece, $400. You know what I'm saying? All right, then go. Then somebody goes and they print out the sheet. All right, well, here's your sheet with all the numbers. Here's your sheet with all of the numbers. Bang. You know what I'm saying? Now we sitting down ready, usually on a Wednesday night, waiting for Powerball. And then you see the numbers. Then the next one. Then they all come out. Then you go to this big, thick booklet of 850 different numbers, games played on here, and you look, and most times what I would do is, because I wouldn't even watch the Powerball, I would just be cautiously optimistic. I would hope that I could wake up, and next thing you know, oh my God, I'm a winner. Just to wake up to be a lottery loser. So what am I trying to say here? is because, like I said, I talked yesterday about the sports betting, and we already know how detrimental that can be. But the lottery over time, it's more of a slow grind, right? As I was saying. So you figure like this. And you ever think about it, how the lottery never stops? You ever think about that, how the lottery is 7 days a week? Could be 6 days a week. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think it's 7 days a week in most states. And just think about it. Say, for instance, if you were to spend, we'll be nice about it. A person spends $5 a day. Not a big deal, right? We all have wasted $5 here and there. So $5 a day. Then on top of that, you might, some days you might feel like, hey, you know what? I'm going to push it a little bit. But we're just going to stay with the $5 a day. $5 a day times $7 is $35 per week. Once again, not a big deal, right? No big deal. $35 a week times 4 weeks, that is $140 per month. Times 10 months is $1,140. And let's add the last 2 months. $1,140 and $240 would be... No, $1,140 and $280 gives us what? $1,140, $280, $1,420. So around $1,420 per year, $1,420. Now, because I'm not an avid lottery player, I may play the Powerball once a year or something like that. So I wouldn't really know what the actual losses are. Have you ever sat and asked a person, hey, how much have you played in lottery this year? And how much have you won? Now, typically, most people will tell you, oh, well, you know what? I wind up winning back what I lose. It's no big deal. It's almost like a savings account I'll eventually, get back. But that's on the lighter end. What about my friends out there that spend $20 a day on the lottery? $20 a day on the lottery. So let's do some quick math on that. $20 times 300 days. We're going to hold the other 65 days because, my math is good, but it ain't great right now. So at 300 days, if you played the lottery at $20 a day, $6,000. $6,000. And you start thinking to yourself, wow, who has $6,000 to risk on a possible whim? And believe me, trust me, because I've gambled before. I do not knock anybody that's playing the lottery. I just like to point out, just certain things that, maybe it's just things to think about. Because a person that plays the lottery probably will never tell you exactly how much they play. Just like me, when I used to sports bet, I wouldn't tell anybody. Only people that knew was the bookie and I, and maybe a select friend or two. But nobody really knew the kind of money I was winning. Nobody knew the kind of money I was losing. Because, betting is like one of those things is sacred to you, because it can either be the greatest thing that happened to you, but more likely than not, it's one of the most embarrassing things that happens to you. So nobody that plays the lottery is ever going to tell us, yeah, man, you know what? You right, G. I only play $5 a day. You know what I'm saying? Such and such, or they're not going to say to you, yeah, I really spend about $250, $300 a week on the lottery. They're not going to tell you that. Very few people want to tell you that, because you're going to look at them and say, I don't care how much money you make. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Let me bring something up, because, we always, like, even with me, I don't know everything. I don't know a lot of stuff. But what I do know how to do is to do some research. So what I did was I just went, because I had this conversation, because the Powerball, somebody just, of course, wasn't here in Philly or Pennsylvania. I think one person may have won $1 million ticket. But the Powerball jackpot that hadn't been hit in 3 months, somebody just hit it earlier this week. So I don't know how much they're splitting, but I think they both chose. No, I'm sorry. One of them chose to get the 29-year annuity. Can you believe that? They said, hey, look, I'm sticking around for this because I don't think that you can transfer it over to another family member. But what they did do was that they said, look, we sticking around for this her. 29 years, give it to me every year. I don't want that annuity. I think out of however much it was, the annuity may have been, I don't even know if it was a third of the total, because I know it was over $1 billion. So let's see. And this is based off of stats from 2023. In 2023, more than $113 billion were collected in total sales from the lottery. And that's all states in the United States. So all together. All right. So let me just give what they gave me a quick breakdown. All right. Government proceeds. They sent approximately $30 billion that was transferred as proceeds to states and local governments for various programs. Administrative costs, they got to pay for the marketing, they got to pay for the machines, they got to pay for the people that work, the people, the execs and all of that. So basically salary and costs, $4.7 billion. And remember, they also got to, kick back a little something to the retailers. They got to get a little kickback because, they got these machines set up. So, nobody's doing nothing for free, right? So that's a part of that $4.7 billion. Now, so out of $113 billion, how much do you think the actual payouts were? Okay, you don't know, so I'm going to tell you. $68.5 billion. $68.5 billion. So it seems to me there is a $45 billion missing there somewhere. Right? So you heard what I just said. They said $30 billion here. They send this money here for this, for administrative costs and everything like that. But think about it. They collected $113 billion from Americans, but only gave back $68 billion to the people that won. And we're not talking about if it's pre-tax, post-tax, anything. Seem a little scammy whammy, right? Because, you supposedly sending this $30 billion to these programs and this stuff in the state. That's fine. I just wish they would be more transparent so we can see what's going on and where the money is going. Because the way I look at stuff, we're all still paying so much in taxes and stuff. So where is it going? But hey, we'll never know. So let's not worry about that. I think I'm more worried about where are we going with it. When you go down and play that lottery, and I get it because I used to gamble. Some people just have to have that feeling of doing something, of getting something done. And I get it. And like I said, I don't knock people for doing it. Unless you don't have the money to do it. Now we got another problem. Because that's what happens. People got all this other stuff going on and everything. And, they still spend money on just leisurely things. I've been guilty of doing it too. But the gambling thing, the lottery thing, why is it that they collect so much money in the lottery? And a lot of our neighborhoods still look the way they look. Now, every different person has to take care of their own lawn, their own front, their own, certain parts of their home or where they live at. But what about the potholes? Anybody ever been to Philly? This isn't just the city of Ben Franklin and cheesesteaks. This is the city of the pothole. That should be like on our city flag, a pothole. But we can build speed bumps. How you got speed bumps, but then you got potholes? Doesn't make any sense, right? So what I'm saying to you is that where is the money going? I'm not even really mad at people who play the lottery like that. But the thing is that the money that you're spending that most likely you're not winning is not going to help the community win. And that's why I wanted to read that. They said that they kick back $30 billion a year in revenue from the lottery dispersed to the states. And the funny thing to me is that all of this money gets kicked back everywhere, but nobody ever knows about it. Even with the lottery, nobody ever really knows anything about it. But we just go on down there and just gonna keep on playing. Here you go. Here's another $20, Ed. Here's another $20, Bill. Well, that's probably not their name, but you know what I'm saying. And the communities are still underserved. It's funny to me how all of this money gets collected for all of these different things that we don't win anyway, a lot of times. But the communities, even where we go to play the lottery at, and all of my friends that live in major cities, inner cities, know this. Even some of the counties now are getting a little wild with it. What is it doing for the community? People are going, dumping their hard-earned dollars, $5, whether it's because it's a thrill to them, whether it's because that's what they like to do, whether it's because they don't want to, engage in sports betting or something like that. So they got the lottery, and that's what they got, and that's their thing. And I get it. But what I'm asking is, what is all of that money that most of us are losing from the lottery? How is it helping the community? That's why I wanted to read those stats. And those are the stats that are reported. I guess we'll never know. It could be more than $113 billion. And it keeps rising every year. But hey, what do I know? I don't even play the lottery, right? I don't play the lotto. I don't play none of that. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, I want to give a shout out to my man, Carl Williams. Carl, I appreciate you sticking in there and sending those comments too, man. And you're wrong on most of them, but that's cool. You're my man, so I love you. And I need more of y'all to comment, and I need more of you to share this. All you got to do when you go on, after you watch it, just click on it, hey, and send it to like 5 friends and say, you know what? This may be applicable to you. Or, you know what? This is something that this guy that I know is saying, and you know what? He's spitting some real ish. You know what I mean? Now, you won't get paid for doing it, but guess what? I'm not getting paid either. But that's not the point. The point is that we want to continue to spread good awareness and good knowledge to people just so we can have a circle, a community of better people around us, more aware people around us. So even if you still choose to do whatever it is you want to do, at least you can say nobody told you so. And with that, I think it's time for me to get some Grey Poupon and put it on some great chicken or something. What are you having for dinner? I really don't care because I can't eat it. But hey, live life. Don't let life live you.